Hey, how's it going, everybody? Charlie Wilson here, aka Sinister Charlie. Welcome back. Hi. Yeah, I got the sparkly shirt again today. I have a yellow shirt on. I changed up the settings, and I got it to where I wanted it. But then I was like, nah, I like sparkly shirt. I like the sparkles. Yeah. So we've got somewhere Lawrence, Lost in the Pond. 6 things Americans are better at than British people. Obviously, we're really good at bombing people. We're really good at the war thing. Yeah, but that's all I can really think about. The thumbnail was him like lifting weights, so I'm guessing it's fitness, I guess, which doesn't really make much sense. Collectively, it doesn't make much sense. Anyway, we'll see what he has to say. 6 things. Let's go, Lawrence.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to things that we Americans do better than us British people. I'm a dual citizen, so that sentence totally makes sense.
Well, that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
And on the back of all of those videos that I've been doing recently that are heavy on research, I thought that this video should just be my observations. In other words, now that I've lived in America for 15 years, what are some of the things that people here intuitively get that we don't perhaps in Britain? Apart from, you know, kicking ass. And I realise that this video might seem controversial, but it's important that it is so that people click on it.
Is it
but I think, as
controversial?
always, it's going to be lighthearted enough that by the end of this video, we're going to all come together in a big group hug. Minus Uncle Toby. And if you'd like to share in that group hug and haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, do that now. And before we dive into this list, here's a quick word about today's sponsor. In the past year, I've taken to learning a new language, and this doesn't just end at the correct pronunciation of quesadilla. No,
I tried that last year. I was doing Duolingo, and I put up some videos of trying to learn Spanish. I need to get back into that.
I want to learn how to order one in Spanish, and that's why I'm using Babbel. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world.
I've heard about it.
Inglaterra. Yeah, wow. For practical purposes, I'm learning Latin American Spanish, but my interest in the language began as a teenager in actual Spain, where I'd laugh at my decidedly non-fluent dad's attempt at speaking Castilian Spanish. And who knows, maybe one day I'll become so fluent that I'll uncover all of the memos that Spain and Mexico lost in the pond. And with Babbel, I just feel like I have a better chance of learning.
I don't know, man. I went to when I was in Greece, there was a Spanish ship that docked at one of our ports in Greece, and yeah, they didn't feel too kindly about the Mexicans, man. They talked a lot of schmack. So, in case any of my Mexican friends out there, the Spanish are talking some shit.
Learning them because they use actual teachers to design the lessons. Babbel even offers live classes, 2 of which you can get for free with your subscription. So let me know in the comments which language you've always wanted to learn and why. Click the link in my description to get 60%
Go to his channel.
off your subscription.
I'll put the link to his video down below in case you wanted to go do that.
In the meantime, here are 6 things that Americans do better than British people, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Number 1, or number 6, depending on how you'd like to order this list. Getting to the point. What do I mean by that?
Concise.
Well, when I say getting to the point, what I mean is, if you're willing to listen to me for just 60 seconds on this, Americans, that is, citizens of the United States of America, are much better at cutting out some of the faff that comes with some, but by no means all, British conversations. And right there, you may have noticed I was using some of that faff to make a very serious point. Before I moved here, I would dilly-dally my way through conversations by saying things like, Philip, in addition to speaking like a radio presenter from the 1930s, could I possibly maybe put you to...
I was going to say no, but then I'm like, that checks. That tracks.
The bother of lending me your brolly. Whereas in America, I've learned not to use an umbrella, but also just to ask, Tara, I'm taking your umbrella. That's a declaration, not a question. Yeah. In other words, here, especially in transactional conversation, we just use fewer words, get to the point straight away, and nobody seems harmed by any of this. Never be afraid of what the other person thinks of your inquiry or question, because so long as you're communicating effectively and with respect, the chances are the outcome will be fine.
Sure. Yeah, go
I
to
think
the
this one
gym.
is based on pretty unscientific observation on my part. Essentially, this comes down to I see more people with massive muscles here than I do in Britain.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, most Americans, just like most British people, don't actually go to a gym. It's just that there does seem to be a higher percentage of Americans that do have a gym membership compared to in Britain. And this one is backed by science or
That's not by that
general
much.
data.
Honestly, I think it has more to do with, in terms of bigger muscles. I think a lot of it has to do with diet. In terms of like, you'll notice like Americans have bigger muscles if they go to the gym than British people go to the gym. I think it's because it's more carbs, more calories that we consume. Honestly, if you want to get bigger muscles, more calories and more carbs is what I've been finding out than anything. I already eat enough protein. Just anyway, sorry.
Because America
You get me
famously
talking
has a
about the
gym culture. And how do I know this? Because I was dragged into it once. In my first year of living in the United
Damn,
States,
Lawrence.
I had a gym membership, and the fact that I
got
only
you.
used it to kick a football at a wall
I
should
got
not
you.
discount from the fact that I had a gym membership.
One
And when
more.
I lived in England, my friends
Sorry.
would never talk about going to the gym. It's not that we weren't athletic or anything like that. It's just that we had other ways of achieving fitness, you know, through walking or swimming or, heaven forbid, running. Gym just wasn't a big part of the conversation. But in America, it's baked into many things. When I had a job in downtown Chicago, one of the perks of working there is that you got 10% off at, say, LA Fitness. And it
10%,
wasn't that I was working for the Chicago Bears. This was a consulting company. And it's quite common for people to receive such perks. My wife, who was a teacher, got the same. And so because of this, I think it's probably less accurate to say that Americans are better at going to the gym than it
it's
is
so
to
much
say
better.
gymnasiums and gymnasium culture are advertised to them more.
Listen here, Lawrence. I'm so much better at you than at the gym. Turn in Alex Jones. I'll tell you what, Lawrence.
And Uncle Toby, if you want to fight about this, just remember that I'm American now and I have 2.5-inch pythons.
You got it.
On the whole, Americans are very, very good at celebrating the success of other people. There are exceptions to this, like my wife's cousin Chad, who believes that I deserve none of this. But on the whole, Americans are just always so quick to congratulate me on becoming and remaining a YouTube sensation. In Britain, depending on the person, it might
People
go
are
like
very
this.
uplifting.
All right, mate, how's that YouTube channel of yours going? Yeah, no, it's going great. I don't know if you're familiar with subscriber counts, but 653,000 subscribers. All right, yeah. Probably all bots, isn't it? Bots?
What?
My mum is not a bot. I'm just having banter, lad. I always get confused. And don't get me wrong, I actually value both approaches. When I'm in need of some sort of mental pick-me-up, it is nice to post a tweet saying something like, "Ooh, I've been watched 67 million times this year," or "I got groceries."
Honestly, I do know my subscriber count vaguely. I think it's like at 4550 or something like that. And then the views, I have no idea. I don't, in terms of like yearly views, I don't keep track. But I never get asked about my YouTube stuff, so I don't know.
Today, because Americans will always whip out that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio raising a glass. On the other hand, when a British person responds with, "Hey, oh, it's gone to his head again," it brings me back down to earth. It reminds me that instead of hiring domestic staff, I should really just muck in and fix both hot tubs myself.
Okay.
Now, it's that time again, isn't it? When both countries save all of their best holidays until the last 60 days of the year. Chief among these in the United States is Thanksgiving and Christmas
thought you were gonna say
Day.
Halloween.
And in America, this could mean that I'm about to see most of my wife's extended family twice within 30 days. And this can be great, you know, unless my wife's cousin Chad brought the tequila again. What I'm saying is, Americans are better at inviting massive amounts of people. In Britain, pound for pound, the houses are smaller, so we can't fit 57 people in without making the local news. But also, most of us just wouldn't want that many weird uncles in the same room. So we keep it to a small number, and that way there are more sausage
Am I the weird uncle?
rolls for everyone, unless I get to them first. And this, of course, is a big generalization. There will be some British family that host lots of people, and there'll be some American families that host no one. But on the whole, when it comes to holiday house parties, Americans really go to town from inside a house.
In town houses.
But despite the excesses of American holidays, there is one surprising thing that I've discovered Americans do better than the British, and it
Really?
is this. We
I would have thought
are
it'd be the other
better
way
at not
around,
littering. I say that's weird because firstly, you do occasionally see litter just blowing around in the American breeze. But it is to an
It also depends on what town you're in. I'm in Tucson. Tucson's, It's relatively clean, sort of. Not really. It's mid. It's very mid. Tucson's a mid town. Just letting you know. Yeah, but Phoenix is disgusting, by the way. Phoenix, the fourth largest city in the United States. Yeah, I would imagine it'd be pretty disgusting, and it is. Tucson's like not. It's not Phoenix.
A notably lesser degree than I experienced in Britain. Like, even in the woods near to my house where I grew up, you'll occasionally see a Polo mint wrapper or a Snickers bar or things I can't mention because I don't want to get demonetized again. In places in America that would be considered the equivalent of the towns and cities that I lived in Britain, there's just notably less of it. This was my experience on the West Coast and on the East Coast and some places in between.
In betwixt.
And we end sort of where we started. Americans are better than British people at speaking Spanish. Assume. And in many ways, this assertion is similar to the one that I made about going to the gym. By no means do all Americans speak Spanish, but around 42 million people speak it as their first language in the United States. And a further 15 million have learned it as a second language. It's also the language that comes up the most when I get into a conversation with an American about what languages did you learn at school? And my first answer would be French, and their first answer almost always would be Spanish. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, of course a lot of people speak Spanish in America. There are millions of Americans who came from Spanish-speaking countries or whose ancestors did the same. And that makes total sense, but I think it took living here to realize just how big of a role the Spanish language plays in America.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I know people think England, which it is, like the UK is right next to Spain, sort of. It's like a couple hours flight, but the Spanish people from Spain tend not to come to the UK. It's generally people from England going to Spain to party and holiday, whatnot.
American society. But it goes deeper than this, because something that I've noticed after living extensively in both countries, Americans are just generally better at pronouncing Spanish words. A fine example of this would be the Spanish dish paella. And notice how I said it there, because that's not how I used to pronounce it when I lived in Britain. Me and most people I knew pronounced it paella. And the first time that I used this pronunciation on an American, he gave me the sort of look that you give to somebody who's weighing in a ditch. And it was at that point that I realized that two L's next to each other in Spanish mean a completely different thing to what they do in Welsh.
Yeah.
If I've learned anything from this video, it's that I'm not going to read the comments. But I've also developed a newfound appreciation for my American cousins and my British siblings. People, and although this list was about things that Americans do better than British people, I am leaving this open to a sequel. That being 6 things that British people do better than Americans. If you like what I do here, consider becoming a patron of Lost in the Pond at patreon.com/lostinthepond or by clicking the join button below. Until the next video, goodbye.
That's usually how I end my videos too. Just about bye. Lawrence with another good one. I grew up in Arizona, so the Spanish thing, that's just, common, very common in Arizona to know Spanish. I'm trying. Maybe this year. Maybe that'll be my, I need New Year's resolutions. I accomplished a couple last year, so. There you go. That's Lawrence. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe down below. Makes me feel real good inside and helps out the channel. And I'll put Lawrence's video down below so you can get all his goodies and whatnots if you're interested. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And bye.